it's a little bit too much. And I was like, aren't they like censored by the clinic? That's great. I'm terrible, you know. And so it's like, wait, if you censor me, like, this is great. I mean, you know, and they say, no, we're not going to censor you, but you know, you have to be careful. You know, that's how Chile is. So the first 3 or 4, I did it with that subject, like sexual things, and then I began to just draw things that happened in my neighborhood and things that happened with my friends, and I forgot about that subject. And then the clinic told me that it was boring. They said it was boring, and so, but I did that for 6 months. Yeah. And finally, I got an urge to come back to Chile. I lived 7 years already in New York, and also Amanda was grown enough to just not having a babysitter. So I had to make a decision. All my friends said, like, you're crazy. How you can live in New York? Everybody wants to be in New York, and you live in New York. It's like, I want to live in Chile, and I want to be a teacher. I can't be a teacher here, and I want to, be close to my family and do my art. That's what I want to do. And I want to do comics. I wanted to just draw comics. And so I came back. Before I moved to Chile, I went to Europe, because I never went to Europe before. And then I met many friends who invited me to stay with them, so I stayed in hotels. And so one of my friends were the guy who gave me the script for Trauco, the first comics I did. And we fell in love, or I did, the first day, and I got pregnant. So I came back to Chile, and then I moved back to Germany. I lived in Germany 2 years, and I had my baby, Lulu, there. And then we moved back to Chile 2 years later, because I couldn't stand it to be a mother and not have my family close. And when you're a mother, it's crazy. People say like the most beautiful thing that can happen to you is a lie. It's terrible. It's so complicated, and I was so depressed. It was terrible because I turned to be a mother and also a housekeeper and also a wife. It was terrible. And so I wanted to be in Chile. So we moved, and then I had a babysitter. It was great because I could go to my studio, and I began to do classes, and then I separated. Then I have my second kid, then I separated, and then life now is normal, a little bit. So I came back to do paintings when I fell in love. And this is very important for me because for 3 years I thought that I was just going to do comics. But when I fell in love, I just needed to do something more intimate, more personal, more symbolic, so I had to paint again. So in the next years, I figured out how to do both without leaving the other one outside. So sometimes when I do a show, I just put all my energy to the show for 2 years, and then I finish that and then do comics. That's what I do now. All the work when I came back to Chile, I published stories about being a mother and a wife. Then when I separated, I did a show with comics, and I also published them in the clinic about the separation, about being a single mother, about being a professor at the university. So everything that happened to me was a comic at the end, and it was great because everybody loved that. Like people around me too. see in the comics, and so all those comics were published in this book, and it was an idea of the publishers. I didn't want to publish a book. I just I think because I don't see comics as my profession, I see comics as something that I do because I like it to do it. And painting is like my profession. So I did this. And then the other publisher, Real, they invited me to publish this year. When I finished my exhibition at Mali, I didn't know what I didn't know what to do, but they say like we want to publish a book this year on the Feria del Libro. That's gonna be November now. So I said, okay, I'll do a book, but I want to do it in pencil, like just pencil, not inking, because inking it takes me a long time. I love it, but it takes a long time. And they say, okay, so I did this diary, and it took me 3 months to do it. It's a real diary because I draw like 4 pages a day, and everything that happened was true. Last year I had to face the fact that my ex-husband found another woman, which is terrible when you separate it. I mean, you don't love him anymore, but when someone else came out, it's terrible. So for me, it was terrible. I didn't love him. I didn't want to be with him, but he, found a woman, and I just was devastated, and I didn't know why. So I got a little crazy, and I had to go to the psychiatrist, and she told me, you know what happened, Marcela? You are in love with him. What? And I was like, no, I can't be in love with him. I don't love him. Like, yeah, you are completely in love with him. No, I cannot. So I said, yeah, what can I do? And she said, well, you just have to figure it out how to have, why do you have this fear of being abandoned? And that, it probably because you have an issue with your mother, which is true. And so you have to talk to your mother, and then ask her how was the relationship with her mother, and with the mothers. So I did that, and then I said, yeah, okay, I did that. So what else can I do? And she said, well, you can take pills, like depression. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I said, okay, you can do something artistic. Like tell all the story to everyone, because if you tell your problems, they're going to come and they're going to go out. You have to talk. You can't just keep it. The big problem to people is they keep everything inside. They want to be perfect. They don't want to show their problems. They don't want to look weak or stupid, or mediocre. So you have to talk. So I decided that I had to do this. So all the story I told you is here. And it was like a therapy. It was great to do it. I think comics for me I don't see it as a profession. No, I think it's just I have to do it. And the story I told you about Amanda and the babysitter. Amanda has a father who last year became a woman. It's a transsexual woman. The story is old, and I always knew it, but I never understood it because it's weird, right? So I asked her.